What's going on, Magic fans? I am back with honestly some more good news. The NBA has flexed the game against the New York Knicks for the Orlando Magic back to primetime. It will be nationally televised. They announced their decision to put back the December 3rd matchup, and that is so great because I just made a video talking about how the Magic should feel slighted. They've been on a bit of a run. The Knicks matchup is still pretty good because the Knicks are playing good basketball too, and it looks like the NBA practically right when I uploaded it reversed the decision. I actually recorded it maybe an hour or two before they reversed it, but the matchup on December 3rd with the New York Knicks will be exclusively broadcasted on TNT. Over their last 9 games, the Magic have put together an impressive 8-1 record, which is good enough for third in the East, especially at the time that they flexed this game yesterday. And the Knicks currently sit just 1 game back from them in the standings. That was something that we also talked about in the video yesterday. So both teams in practically a dead heat for that 3rd spot in the Eastern Conference. It's been a bit of a toss-up in a sense because you got a lot of teams behind them that are failing and that haven't been able to adjust to different types of injuries. And then you got a team like the Cavs or like the Celtics who have gotten out of the gate fairly quickly. Now, when we take a look at this decision by the NBA and how the Magic have been playing since the NBA has made this decision and since Paolo Banchero got hurt, because essentially the announcement was made about a week or 2 weeks after Paolo Banchero went down. It was made at November 13th. The Magic were sitting at 6-6, and they were still trying to figure out how they were going to operate without Paolo Banchero. It was about October 30th when he went down and he was sidelined, so you got about 2 weeks there. New York was 5-5, and some around the league were questioning whether the franchise had made the right choice about sending Julius Randle and DiVincenzo to the Timberwolves and acquiring Towns. They didn't know if that was going to work. Well, right now they're playing much better basketball. Both teams are above 500, and on Sunday they decided to put it back on primetime. Now, a very interesting thing that I didn't really get into yesterday about this primetime dynamic is also the fact that this is a NBA Cup matchup, and they replaced it with the Grizzlies and Mavericks. And I didn't want to, say that the Grizzlies and Mavericks game was too bad, but when we do look at the Cup matchup, or from a Cup perspective, the Knicks and the Magic have both won their first 2 Cup games, and the Grizzlies are 0-2 and Dallas is 2-1. So they have a loss. So adding to that, I definitely think that this matchup is definitely smarter for Orlando, or for the NBA to make that decision. Now let's take a look at what has been going on with the team so far, and let's take a look at Franz Wagner. I've highlighted Franz in about every video that we have had. He's averaging 24 points, almost 6 boards, and almost 6 assists. He is easily the best player on the team when Paolo Banchero is out, and hopefully he continues to play well once Banchero comes back. Now, will that happen? Well, it'll just be left up to the future, and we will try to see exactly who ends up taking a bit of a step back when Paolo Banchero comes back. But I tell you what, this team is definitely better with Banchero, and God forbid any sort of injuries or any more injuries than we've already suffered happens, because I don't want to get too cocky here. We're only 11-7. It's not like we're the greatest team ever. But wanted to mention Franz Wagner is also the big reason why this team is where it's at and why they have a primetime game. Okay, now let's take a look at the entire team. As you can see, Anthony Black is right here. I wanted to talk a little bit about him because I posed a question earlier. I said, hey, in the community tab, that'll be the question of the day. Do you think Benatze should continue to start if Wendell Carter Jr. is out? Wendell Carter Jr. was questionable, and he is now out for however many straight games. But he was questionable for the 3rd straight game. He's dealing with that left foot plantar fasciitis. So he's out. When Wendell Carter Jr. comes back, should Goga continue to be the starting center? Because Mo Wagner's coming off the bench, and he's the 2nd leading scorer on the team, and he's still starting. We're 7-3 since Benatze has come back. Should Wendell Carter Jr. come back? But that also just leads me to this. Jalen Suggs is out with a left hamstring strain. He wasn't on the injury report earlier today, but it looks like they're probably just going to be keeping it or playing it safe in a sense with Anthony Black, should he end up being the guy that takes over and starts. We obviously know what Cole Anthony, what kind of struggles he had been dealing with this year, and it's pretty apparent. He said about a week and a half ago he realizes that he's not playing well, and he's really trying to pick it back up. He's really trying to kind of get back into the groove, but he's well aware that his minutes are getting cut, and he's only averaging about 7 points per game. Now, Anthony Black, on the other hand, as you can see, the field goal percentage and the three-point percentage does leave something to be desired, but if you're watching these games, you see the improvement that he has made. He is a much better facilitator than we have had in recent years from anybody, maybe even including Jalen Suggs this year, and he's averaging 9 points per game, so he's still actually being aggressive and still getting points and putting points in onto the scoreboard for the Magic, because Lord knows we need that in every single which way we can get, especially with Jalen Suggs now out. So we got Wendell Carter Jr., Suggs, and Banchero out. Who is going to be the guy to take over for that? Now let's also take a look at Badotse's numbers. They're not going to just jump off the screen to you, except for the 17% from the field, but Badotse, just as in his own way, in the same vein as Anthony Black, he does more than what the box score would present. Also, if you wanted a box score demon, you could go take a look at what Mo Wagner's been doing on this team, and that would show you where the front court scoring is coming from. But I'd say providing practically everything else. He's been playing extremely well, and I also wanted to highlight him. Sorry if this video has been all over the place. There's a lot been going on, and I just saw that Suggs and Wendell Carter Jr. was out. Wendell Carter Jr., not a surprising scratch, but always something to watch whenever we're talking about Jalen Suggs, because he dealt with a lot of injuries prior to last year, and that was kind of the MO. So we'll see if he can try to make it back. They said it wasn't something that was serious or anything like that, but definitely something, like I said, to watch during the game. Now, I personally do think that Anthony Black should be the player that takes over for Jalen Suggs in this absence. I don't really see how this would be a place where Cole Anthony comes in. I think that the team needs a facilitator. I think that they need somebody who can continue to pass the ball, and not somebody like Cole Anthony, who's struggling right now to shoot, who is not going to be the facilitator that you may want, and is not going to provide the strengths that Jalen Suggs is not that he's going to leave with. When he's not out there, what are we going to have to make up for? We're going to have to make up for defense and facilitating. I think that is consistently going to be, every time you ask, down every possession, it's going to be Anthony Black over Cole Anthony right now, and that's just the fact of the matter. We're 20 games in the season, or just about, and I don't really think that that's wavering. I don't think that there's any sort of, hey, he's a rookie or second-year guy, or hey, we're too far into the season to really tell. Well, at this point, it looks like this is the case, and hopefully KCP can pick up some of that offensive load and help Anthony Black continue to dish the rock and do that. We desperately need Wendell Carter Jr. to come back, in a sense, too, if Jalen Suggs is out. We just need some sort of extra scoring, and then obviously counting down the days for Paolo Banchero to come back. But that might be a conversation further down the line. But guys, let me know what you think down below. Should it be Anthony Black starting in place of Jalen Suggs in tonight's game against the Hornets? And answer the poll that I got in the community tab here on the channel. It's about Goga Badotse when Wendell Carter Jr. comes back, which is pretty inevitable and probably pretty soon. Should he keep his starting position? I think it's a very interesting conversation. The team did it by committee last year, so we'll see what they end up deciding to do over the next handful of games, over the next week or so. That'll probably be when we figure out the fate of those two questions in the next couple weeks. So we'll have to wait and see. But guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Lots of stuff going on in Magic basketball. Seems to be picking it back up again with a lot of different news. Some good, some bad. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time with some more Orlando Magic basketball content.